This one here. How this fake website is putting people in prison by Visual Venture.
RentAHitman.com.
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 I think I've heard of this.
RentAHitman.com.
She's 18. She went on a website to hire a hitman.
This website is nothing more than a parody, but it did put a bunch of people behind it.
Nigga, I'm sorry, bro. If you're fucking, let's just keep it 100 real quick. If your stupid ass is fucking logging onto the internet and typing in fucking RentAHitman.com, nigga, to go hire a hitman, you dumb as shit. To think that you can just Google that shit and it comes up like it's rent a car, like it's fucking, like it's Carvana, nigga. Like what the hell did you think was gonna happen, bro? Like what you really thought it was gonna be that fucking easy? You thought it was gonna be that, like, yeah, I can just go on fucking Carvana and just rent that shit real quick. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Bars, and the question is how? Before we get started, I just wanted to shout out Wavy Web Surf because his video is what inspired this one, our first customer. Years ago in 2010, Bob Inez, the owner of RentAHitman.com, stumbled upon an odd request in his email from a stranger. The person in question was a British woman named Helen, who was located in Canada, stranded without her passport. Although she was stuck in a foreign country with no way to get back home, she didn't ask for help because she had a different goal in mind. She wanted her family members back home, out of the picture, gone. Helen found the website RentAHitman.com and took the URL for what it was. Her request? She wanted to rent a hitman. In her email, she requested the services of a hitman to take out 3 of her family members in the UK
for screwing her out of her father's inheritance.
And now she wanted revenge. But Bob, the owner of the site, didn't respond.
That's a movie plot right there, bro. That is genuinely a movie plot. They took all my money. I'm about to rent a hitman and murk. That's a movie, bro. That's a movie.
No idea if this woman was actually serious about all this or if this was just another one of the prank emails she was so used to opening. But Helen wasn't giving up so soon. She asked again, and this time she sent Bob all of the personal information.
Names, address, and other corroborating information.
Names and addresses.
Jesus!
So Bob took this as a sign to take action. He sent her a reply back. Do you still require our assistance? We can place you in contact with a field operative. Helen thought that this was it. Her wishes were finally
stupid ass Helen.
She was getting a field operative on the job, a real trained professional. But what she didn't know was this was not a hitman. In fact, the operative on the other end of the line was the law itself. And just days later, Helen was locked up because RentAHitman wasn't real. It's nothing more than a spoof. And Bob didn't assign a hitman to the case, but rather the police. What is RentAHitman? Established in 2000.
Niggas thought this shit was just Turo, bro. I just can't get over that. That niggas really think this is just Turo. Like, I'm just like, it's gotta be that easy, bro. Like, if I just type in RentAHitman on Google and it's the first thing that pops up, totally it. Cause you can just rent a nigga to kill someone for you, like, just that easy. It's like, what?
2005, RentAHitman was a website meant to give people easy access to contract assassins without having to use the dark web. With an easy-to-navigate website, customer testimonials, and even a careers page, it seems like RentAHitman has taken an unconventional business model and transformed it into a real service. But what some unsuspecting people don't know is that all the information on the website is a lie, or rather a parody. RentAHitman was not an actual hitman service. In fact, if you take a deeper look at the site, you can probably tell that none of this was meant to be taken seriously.
There's several red flags on the website. There's a banner ad. It opens up a new browser window for the Internet Crime Complaint Center that's run by the FBI.
On the front page, the site claims to be compliant with HIPAA, or Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964, which, if you look it up, is definitely not what HIPAA stands for. The real origin of the website dates back to February 5th, 2005. Bob Inez bought the domain for just $9.20. He and his friends were working on an IT training program.
And it was a play on words. Rent as in hire us, hit as in web hit, visitor traffic analytics.
The team carried out hits on the online security measures of other companies. So
I
they
see.
decided to call themselves Hitman, which led to the
Pretty cool.
infamous RentAHitman.
Pretty cool.
After the program was completed, Bob ended up keeping the domain in hopes of selling it in the future. But when no one wanted to buy it, Bob decided to just repurpose the site into a joke Hitman service to go with the name. He even opened up a form on the site for people to submit their inquiries,
Lops, what's
comments,
good?
and requests. For years, Bob left the site running without ever touching it again, but people kept finding it. Most visitors saw the site for what it was, and people would send prank emails to the associated email address. Others weren't as good as taking the hint and sent in real inquiries about hiring a hitman. Bob ended up
Insanity.
receiving dozens of actual hitman requests. Some would even send in addresses, photos, and private information about the targets, desperate to find someone to get the job done. We got to a point where Bob was genuinely concerned about the well-being of some of these targets.
Bob Innes showed us his pages and pages of printed out emails.
This is just a lot of solicitations from people around the world.
He decided to take action and prevent anything bad from happening to these people. That's why he started cooperating with law enforcement to ensure that anyone sending in an actual hitman request would get dealt with accordingly. He started keeping track of people's information, even sending fake emails back to them to try and help the police get one step closer to catching them. It said that the site has prevented
Fell right into his
150
trap.
possible hits from actually happening. Bob
150 of y'all? Like what y'all hiring a hitman for, bro? Hold on, bro. What's going
constantly
on?
monitors the site.
100, I'm just actually 150 of y'all dumbasses? Idiots?
Inbox to make
Foolish
sure that
Nick
anything
on
that
poops?
raises any red flags is immediately reported to the authorities.
How do you describe yourself?
Cyber Crusader is, yeah. And I'm the webmaster of RentAHitman.com, your point-and-click solution.
And while most people by this point have realized that RentAHitman is nothing more than a gimmick, some people still try to use the site as a legitimate service, one of them being Xandra Ellis, the fake assassin. Before we talk about Xandra, I want to thank this video's sponsor, War Thunder. War Thunder is a vehicle combat MMO game with over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from early 20th century.
All right, War Thunder. I love you, War Thunder, but you're not sponsoring me. You're sponsoring Visual. I love you, but you know.
Unity is also there are over 7 is for you. Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox now by using my link in the pinned
War
comment
Thunder got
or
pretty big, huh?
description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months across all platforms get a massive days of received the service only for a limited time. On June 30th, 2018, Bob received a service request from a woman named Jasmine Brown. In her message, Jasmine requested the help of a hitman to get rid of a woman whom she named BH. In the request, she also
Her address,
attached
everything.
BH's personal information and social media handles to help aid the mission. Although the name on the form was Jasmine Brown, Bob was quick to realize that this name was nothing more than a cover-up name. That's because the email address and phone number used were associated with someone with a completely different profile. Someone named Xandra Ellis. In the
Gotcha,
request,
Xandra.
Xandra, aka Jasmine Brown, claimed that BH had been trying to harm her, so she wanted to catch her blindsided by striking first.
I mean, that's a fair reason to hire a hitman, realistically. If there's a one fair reason to hire a hitman, if I feel like you're trying to come after me and my child, like it's like I'm trying to get you first. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to let you sneak up on me. So yeah, I mean, that one you could have let slide. You could have sent that to a real hitman. Maybe you can just like filter through a little more. Like the ones that are like, okay, maybe that one should go to a real hitman. No, this one's not worth it. Send us to the cops. No, this one, she's trying to kill someone's dog. Hitman. This lady's mad because this person yelled at her child. No, maybe cops. You know, like we can really sort this through.
That's why she wanted to enlist the help of a professional, one that could get rid of BH once and for all. Realizing that Xandra had every intent to go through with this, Bob took on a fake name himself and got into character. Pretending to be a hitman named B.I., Bob replied to her message. First, he asked the woman why she called herself Jasmine Brown, since the email that she used was connected to the name Xandra Ellis. Xandra was prepared for this question. She told Bob that the email that she was using was a fake name to protect her real identity. While Bob didn't believe this, he played along. He handed the reins over to the FBI, who assigned an agent to go undercover and catch Xandra red-handed. The FBI agent took on the role of Ace, a fake hitman at the RentAHitman service. He then contacted Xandra via text message asking if she was still interested in the services she had requested online. Almost immediately, she replied. Xandra was definitely still interested, but the only issue with her was the price. The FBI agent posing as Ace informed her that it would be $1,000 for the job, with a $100 upfront payment to
just $1K to kill somebody? Damn, bro.
seal the deal. This was something she could do, and she even negotiated with the FBI agent Ace to pay the rest in $250 installments over the next few weeks. The two set a meeting time at a local Waffle House in New Orleans for Xandra to—
That's cheap as hell, bro. Cheap, yeah, that's cheap. I'm thinking this would be at least 50 grand to murk somebody, bro. Right? 50, 60 grand. Like, taking someone's life cannot be like $1,000. Like, I feel like if you're a hitman, you gotta get paid big bucks. Like, to be an assassin hitman, it's gotta be the large ones, man. Like, can you play the back rooms? Maybe not today. But remind me and I can check it out. 50 grand at minimum, maybe 100 bands. You gotta, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't Floyd Lawton, Deadshot, make like millions, bro? If it's free, if you do it yourself. All right, Jason. somebody go ahead and ban this nigga Jason, because he's wilding. somebody go ahead and ban this nigga Jason, because he's fucking wilding.
Give the down payment. But while Xandra was over the moon that she was finally going to get rid of the victim, what she didn't know was she would end up walking right into her own downfall. A few days later, on July 6th, 2018, Xandra arrived at the Waffle House with an unexpected guest. Xandra had brought her own kid to a meeting with a supposed hitman. She spotted Ace sitting in a booth at the restaurant, and she sat down next to him, ready to hand off the cash. But Ace came prepared. Without Xandra knowing, he stashed a recording device on him and picked up their conversation to collect it as evidence. During the conversation, the FBI agent was quickly able to find out Xandra's motivations for the job. Turns out that both BH and Xandra had kids with the same guy. This already tense relationship got even—
Oh, well, see now it makes a little bit of sense. It's war right now. It seems like it's war. See, if I had known that, if we had known that from the jump, we wouldn't have taken on this job. This seems more like a jealousy thing, not for a hitman. All right? Seems like more of a baby mama beef. Hitmen stay out of the baby mama beefs.
Even worse after the two started an intense feud on
Xandra, which
caused Xandra's hatred for the woman to get so strong that she wanted to hire a contract assassin. Xandra claimed that the other woman, BH, had been making threats against her and her unborn child, and that by doing this, she was going to keep her family safe. This led to the FBI agent asking if she had anything else to protect herself with, to which Xandra replied, "Always strapped." This, of course, was also captured in the recording. It didn't take long for the agent to gather enough evidence to put Xandra behind bars. And when he had finally heard enough, he began the arrest. He cuffed Xandra to the table just moments before she was about to leave the Waffle House. But while Xandra used the site as it was originally intended, others don't just see RentAHitman as a service.
Use some Waffle House right now, man. Like that time. It's like that Waffle House time, you know? Like, what time is it right now? Wait, what, 11? 11? Yeah, 12 on a Saturday night. It's like a Waffle House habit. Right? My college days, Waffle House habit. I haven't had Waffle House in like 5-6 years now. I could use some.
But rather a possible employer. I want to be a hitman. The job market can be tough, especially for those coming out of military service. But rather than adjusting to an office job or trying something new, this ex-Tennessee Air National Guardsman decided to pursue a job more suited to his talents, particularly his sharpshooting skills. In February 2023, Josiah Ernesto Garcia, like so many others, went on RentAHitman to send in an inquiry. But rather than asking for the usual services, he did something that no one had done on the site before.
According to the criminal complaint,
oh yeah, I remember this one.
Garcia submitted a resume and identification documents saying he was, quote, an expert marksman.
He's a little different. He's He's probably slightly on the spectrum. Like 90% chance he's slightly on the spectrum for this one. It's okay, just looking for a job, but like you're crazy to think that this was actually gonna work.
The nickname Reaper.
Instead of wanting to hire a hitman, he wanted to be hired as one instead. After leaving the military, Josiah was in desperate need of money since his family was struggling. He and his partner were about to become parents, and they needed extra cash to support the child. Josiah thought that becoming a hitman would be the perfect profession for him, seeing as he'd had plenty of marksmanship experience during his military days. In his inquiry, Josiah talked about his time in the Air National Guard as an airman first class.
I'm
and
offended.
all that he learned.
I'm offended, Ducky. I'm on the spectrum and I would never do that. Oh, my bad, bro. My bad. I mean, you know, you're just slightly less. Slightly less.
Applied to his future as a hitman. After his initial message received no reply, Josiah reached out again. This time, Bob couldn't ignore it.
I'm looking for a job that pays well related to my military experience, shooting and the marked target, so I can support my kid on the way. Adding, put me in, coach.
It was clear that Josiah
Hey man, he's
had
doing it for a
every
good
intention
reason.
of wanting to be hired. So Bob knew that he had to pass this information along to the authorities. Bob, under the guidance of the FBI, pretended to be a recruiter and messaged Josiah back. The two then went back and forth in a conversation with Josiah incriminating himself more and more with every reply. Josiah laid it out to Bob, telling him that he'd been looking into this career path for a while now since
the
it
hell?
was good money, and he needed that support for himself and his family, especially.
Bro said
the
I was
baby.
born to be a killer.
Josiah also allegedly told
I was
Bob
born
that
to be a
his
killer.
job was $5,000.
Oh,
While all
my.
this was going on, the FBI was busy setting up a sting operation to catch Josiah in the act. They prepared a time, date, and place for Josiah and an undercover agent to meet up. The agent would pretend to be a hitman who was there to give Josiah his first ever target. The location that they ended up picking was a local park in Hendersonville, Tennessee. The FBI prepared a convincing fake target packet which contained fictitious photos, information, and $2,500 in cash as a down payment for the gig. On the day of the meetup, both Josiah and the agent arrived at the spot on time. In the agent's hand, there was a fake target packet. The evidence they needed was now right in front of them. All they had to do was wait for Josiah to take the package and confirm his intent to harm the person shown in the photos. As
Okay.
expected, Josiah took the packet, and allegedly
Okay.
he even asked if he needed to provide a photo after the fact to prove that the job was done. But before he could even get an answer to his question, the police were already on the scene.
I was about to
putting him
say.
under arrest.
I was about to
After this
say.
encounter-
I'm about to say. What if he left the scene? The fake target packet looked like somebody he saw, and he just shot him.
The police then searched his house for further evidence. There, they found a firearm that he was going to be using to complete the job. This, combined with him being caught in the act, gave police enough evidence to lock Josiah up for 10 years if convicted. But while Josiah got himself arrested for trying to support his family, this next case is the complete opposite, because this man hated his mother-in-law so much that it landed him in prison.
Damn.
The mother-in-law dispute. In April of 2022, Leif Everett Heyman took the issues he had with his girlfriend's mother to extreme lengths by attempting to hire a hitman on her. According
What
to
did she
Bob
do to
Stern,
you?
the man had made multiple requests on the website, sending in his mother-in-law's private information several times to try and get the job done. In his initial request, he had written this: "I want her gone now. Too much I don't like about her. She's controlling my wife." But after this and a couple of other requests went ignored, Leif started to get impatient, and he made that very clear in his follow-up emails. On April 28th, 2022, he sent a message to Bob's inbox complaining about how no one's reached out to him to conduct the job. "You people are fake. I can't wait anymore. I'm doing it myself."
Oh,
After
shit.
Bob read that disturbing message, Bob knew he had to do something.
Yeah.
Leif had
I was
claimed-
gonna say, like, some of these niggas might be like, honestly, I'll just take it into my own hands. That might have messaged him, and he looks like that guy. If you had to conjure up a picture of a murderer in your head, or if there was a bunch of guys lined up and you were sitting there and they were like, "Who's the murderer?" I'm discriminating. It's you. Like, you could have never even been at the scene. It's you. Like, I'm calling you.
That he would do the job himself, and if he did, there was no way for Bob to track that anymore. The life of Leif's mother-in-law was essentially in his hands, so he did what he did best. He passed the messages on to the authorities and oversaw an undercover mission to get
Pancake, you're banned.
get Leif caught. All of Leif's information was sent, and in May of 2022, the sting operation against Leif Everett Heyman began.
The undercover agent posing as the hitman contacted Heyman. The agent says that Heyman kept telling him he wanted the woman, quote, gone
off the earth.
Posing as a hitman from the website, an undercover agent contacted Leif to get all the details and started gathering evidence for the case. Despite reaching out multiple times for the service, Leif told the agent that he was on an extreme budget. He initially proposed a $200 fee to get the job done, but then dropped it down to $53, saying that he couldn't get enough money from his girlfriend. A few days later, on May 11th, 2022,
nigga, I got $53 for you to kill my mother-in-law. Nigga, what? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Nigga, I'm not killing shit. Nigga, you can't even afford cocaine. What, like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, like, what, you think that's somebody's life?
Undercover agent set out to meet with Leif. Instead of picking a public place like usual, the two had decided to meet in Leif's house in New Mexico. And when the agent arrived, it made sense why. Because Leif had his own secret motives that he hadn't disclosed to his hitman. Leif had been living with a state-appointed guardian and full-time caregivers, as he had intellectual disabilities that required him to have extra help at home. And when the agent arrived, tensions were high between Leif and one of his caregivers. Although the job had been initially just about Leif's mother-in-law, it took only moments for the agent to realize that Leif had other plans in mind. He had more than one enemy and definitely more than one target. Leif made it clear that he wanted the hitman to get rid of the caregiver in question, even saying that it was part of the deal.
For $53 though?
Didn't know how to react. Leif and his caregiver began getting into a heated dispute. With so much of this not going to plan, the agent decided to abort the undercover mission, driving away from the scene. But still, the original goal remained. They had enough evidence to get Leif charged, so that's exactly what they did. Leif was taken into custody, and while his intellectual disabilities did raise a debate about whether or not he was fit to stand trial, he ultimately was deemed competent. He now faces a sentence of up to 10 years. While Leif used RentAHitman to get rid of his partner.
$53 is still crazy, bro. $53, bro. 53, my nigga. Like, you wanted 2 people dead for 53?
His mother. Some people want to get rid of their actual partners. The difficult divorce. On July 17th, 2020, a Michigan woman by the name of Wendy Wayne offered RentAHitman $5,000 to complete a job on her.
This is solid.
The reason for her request.
This is solid. This is what I'm talking about. At least like $5K, not crazy, but it's like, all right, I'll kill your fucking ex-husband for you. $5K, like a little poom poom job, little poom poom pow. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
She caught her husband cheating on her with the babysitter. She wanted him to pay for what he did.
Talk about Pornhub.
Wendy reportedly offered $5,000 to compensate for the hitman's travel expenses, as her ex lived in a different state, and she wanted to make sure that the hitman had enough money to ensure everything went smoothly. A state trooper pretending to be a hitman met with Wendy in a South Rockwood parking lot where she was meant to hand off a down payment. But instead of securing the job, Wendy was met with handcuffs, because it didn't take long for her to realize that the man in front of her was not a trained assassin, but rather an officer of the law. Although it might seem that Wendy's method to get revenge against her ex is pretty shocking, she's by no means the only person who used the site for this reason. This next case is similar, but instead of trying to eliminate the ex, Devin wanted to get rid of her and her entire family.
Golly!
Breakup gone wrong. In early 2018, 20-year-old Devin and his girlfriend were going through a rough breakup. With a 3-year-old daughter also in the picture, the two splitting made their situation even more difficult. And out of the two of them, Devin wasn't going to be the one to get custody. But instead of moving on or trying to get custody in court, he decided to seek out the help of a hitman through RentAHitman.
Fuck it, huh? Just fuck them all.
Girlfriend once and for all, and guarantee that he would be the one to take care of the child. But if that wasn't enough, he didn't just submit her as a target. He sent in the information of both her parents as well, in hopes of getting rid of all 3 of them. So on February 3rd, 2018, Devin's requests were finally heard after Bob forwarded his messages to the August County Sheriff.
He looks just... I didn't know what he was going to look like, but he looks exactly like I thought he would look. If that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. If you know, you know. Like, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
sheriff's office. The deputy then disguised himself as a hitman and began communicating with the 20-year-old. In their conversations, Devin revealed his motive for putting a hit on 3 people, saying that he could be a good father to the girl, but his ex and her family were getting in the way. But although Devin wanted more than ever to have this job completed, nothing came of it because he was struggling to come up with money for the service, which meant that money wasn't exchanged between Devin and the deputy leading up to the arrest. To the officer, it seemed like Devin had simply gotten cold feet and no longer wanted to go through with it. But that didn't pardon his original intentions. And on February 12th, 2018, Devin was arrested on 3 counts of solicitation to commit first degree. Although Devin wanted to rent a hitman to take care of a young child, some people try to use the service for the very opposite reason. The mom who solicited against her son.
That's crazy.
In 2023, Jasmine...
All right, this is crazy. What is going on, bro? Like, this is scary. It's a scary world out here is what I'm realizing. It's a freaking scary one.
Paez did pretty much the worst thing a mother could do by requesting services for her own son. Jasmine, who was only 18 years old at the time.
No, there's no rent to DuckyDee. We're not doing that. No, sir. That's not the best. That's an idea. I tell my son this a lot. I say, that's an idea, but a very bad one. Okay, but it's an idea. You tried, but a very bad one. That was no.
It felt like this was the only thing that she could do to preserve her great love story, and that this was a worthy sacrifice to keep her boyfriend by her side. Jasmine, who lived in Miami-Dade County at the time, was dating an 18-year-old named Gamaliel Souza. The two had been on and off for ages, with one thing always causing the two to break up, or rather, one person, Jasmine's son. Gamaliel told Jasmine time and time again that he did not like her child, even claiming that he was getting in the way of their relationship.
Bro, you're gonna choose this guy over your son?
Openly encourage her to get rid of him by any means necessary. He allegedly said, "The kid is the problem. I hope you see that. All I ever wanted was to free you." Their most recent breakup was the final straw. Gamaliel had enough and decided that unless she took care of the job, he wasn't coming back. "You do it and I'll think about coming back," he allegedly said in messages to Jasmine.
I just saw a comment that was just way too out of pocket. What did you just say? Because you are getting banned, sir. You are getting banned. Who just said that? Who just said obese Miss Marvel? You're banned, sir. Like, you are just foul, and you're like, you've gone too far. We have to get you out. You need to take 24 hours off. Take some time off. Take some time off to go think about what you just said. Take some time off, because I was just, no. Take the day off, bro. Come back Monday. Come back, like, I saw that. You weren't slick. Take some time off. Take some motherfucking time off, nigga. I saw that shit.
Jasmine, desperate to keep him by her side, had tried to please him by lying and saying that her son was already out of the picture. But when Gamaliel asked for proof, she couldn't provide that. So unable to give him the evidence he wanted, Jasmine decided that all that was left to do was to actually get the job done for real this time. This is why she went on RentAHitman, hoping that she and Gamaliel could
How old is the son?
happily ever after together. In her initial request, Jasmine stressed this was important and she had a time constraint. She needed the job to be done by Thursday, only giving the supposed hitman a few days to complete the hit. Bob contacted the authorities immediately because Bob was worried that if he didn't reply, she would find another
Took her son to the woods. Oh my God.
That there was no way he could stop her. Bob immediately contacted the Miami-Dade Police Department after verifying
oh my God, this is real.
Information.
This is a fucking
name, associated email
this is a movie.
All the corresponding messages that she sent.
This could be a movie. Like, if there's one of these stories that could really be a movie, it's this one. 4-day time constraint. The main character can be the guy on the website. He's just trying to solve it the whole time. He's like, bro, I only got 4 days. That would be a fantastic film. Even just a short film. Wow, wow, wow.
To the RentAHitman site. But instead of doing something about it, the Miami-Dade police decided not to help. They redirected Bob to Crime Stoppers instead. But Bob persisted, knowing that there was a child in danger out there, and the time was running out to save him.
I'm confused. Why not just put this little man up for adoption? Do you like semen? My own. Why not just put this man up for adoption, realistically? I don't understand, like... What?
several attempts for the Miami Police Department to hear him out. They even threatened to send him a cease and desist letter before they took action, but thankfully they got to it in time. Jasmine Paez was arrested for charges of first-degree solicitation and third-degree using a communications device for unlawful use. Shortly afterward, her
3-year-old,
ex-boyfriend,
yeah,
Sosa,
bro,
was also arrested due to how much he pressured Jasmine into doing this. He was charged as well. My friends,
y'all niggas trying to get rid of a 3-year-old fucking child?
Permanent consequences. Visual venture.
Facts.
Thanks a
Nigga,
ton
if you
to
come
War Thunder.
if you come
Play
with a
for
permanent
free.
consequence like a fucking killing someone over getting angry, you need help. You need Jesus, therapy, everything. Everything, bro. Like that is beyond, like, come on, dog. That's never it. Not even yourself.